Hey, everybody, it's Dale Jr., and we're here for the Ask Junior portion of the show. TJ is out this week, and it's just me and the guys. And Xfinity Mobile, NASCAR fans, now you get speeds that you need on or off the track with Xfinity Mobile. Access to Wi-Fi speeds up to 1 gig in millions of locations nationwide. And with its nationwide coverage, it's always going to come through in a clutch. So, you take NASCAR on the go with Xfinity Mobile, or anything else you want to do. I've got that stuff. I've got that Xfinity Mobile. I like it. I have a this ain't no joke. So I know y'all think, we just read these commercials and we just read these, they give me this sheet and I'm like, yeah, yada yada yada. But I've told y'all this before. So I got this house that we have a vacation home. I'm very proud of it, and I didn't own a vacation or any type of home like that till 2008. I was, so that was kind of, anyways, another story. But it's got Xfinity internet, and it is way out on the end of this street. And I'm looking at the lines. I know which line is the internet line, the fiber line, and I'm looking at the telephone poles. Some guns been up there. These 1945 telephone poles. This stuff's old, rickety. And my internet only went out once, and that was because somebody backed into the telephone pole right where the line comes down to go into the ground and cut the line in half. And I had to go out there and put 2 new coax ends on it and fasten it back together and move it around the backside so when they back into that pole again, they don't cut the line. But it is way out on the very fringes of their service, and my cams and all my stuff always works. I can open my app right now and look and see the front porch, the garage door, always working. So it's good stuff. I got my little sim rig out there. I'm racing online, playing video games, whatever. Ain't got no problems, no lag, nothing. But I appreciate Xfinity Mobile. I love that I get to talk about a partner that I actually use the stuff, because it makes me really happy to say what I got to say. Anyways, we're going to move on before y'all start giving me hell in the chat talking about Xfinity Internet for an hour.
I really hope this chat doesn't freeze.
Don't light me up, man. I'm really proud of that. Xfinity Mobile.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in the chat, including our good friend Master of Light. They're big DBC fan, so it's good.
I'm sitting here with my ears tucked into my hat, and my sunglasses on the back of my neck, with my jewelry on, watching As Junior. Michael, you're funny. That's hilarious. Hey, I gotta tell y'all. So I know we get a lot of people that watch and listen to the Dale Jr. download.
Yeah.
But the amount of people in the last month, especially in the last 2 weeks, that have come up to me and said nothing but stuff about Bless Your Heart has been really surprising. I was at Cordele racing the late model this weekend, and grown men my age coming up talking about it. And I think the show's fun. We have fun doing it. But I was going to be okay if it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, particularly our male NASCAR demographic. Yeah. I thought it'd be great for female demographic. We have a lot of females watch, but really surprised at the dudes, our good hardcore race fans that are enjoying it and they crack up and they'll crack a joke and it's fun. So I've been enjoying that.
Yeah, I mean it's not like a marriage show.
No.
It's a life show.
Yeah,
everyone can relate to that.
And we put ourselves out there.
Yeah,
the me complaining about people hanging their sunglasses in their shirt. I knew I was going to get roasted. It's okay. And even Amy, she's like, "Yeah, that's a you problem," and so that's all right.
You roasted me in our group chat over the weekend about.
We got Wilmington, Oregon, Dallas,
Australia,
Indonesia. Good.
Wow.
Edmonton, Alberta. Man.
Have you been to Canada?
Yes. I went and shot. Y'all remember there was a fuel additive that I had on the quarter panel of my rookie 2000 Cup car. I've got a bottle of it still. But it was this fuel additive, and I went to Ontario to shoot the commercial for that. I was in this industrial park. It was an old closed down industrial facility, and I'd take this Camaro.
The Outlaw?
Yes, the Outlaw. I'd take this Chevy Camaro and do some donuts in this little, and I did it. I did all that work driving the car. I was
You were the professional driver on a closed course?
Yes.
Wow.
So I drive it through these little tight corridors, and they were like, drive up here and spin, do donuts. And it was like a room this size. And I'm like, I'm going to hit every fucking thing. I'm going to hit everything in here. I'm going to hit everything. Oh, wait, I can do donuts, but I'm going all over. I can't like do a donut and be like, precise with my donuts. Yeah. But I didn't do any damage. We had a lot of fun.
That is impressive.
It was cool. They went up there to shoot it because it was cheaper. And I guess they could circumvent some sort of laws and so forth to shoot it outside the United States. And I've been to Vancouver. And, one place I want to go now that we're talking about this? There is a road that you can take on the western side of Canada that goes all the way up to Alaska. And driving up that road, you pass by all of these old western sort of vintage, like 1600 saloons and towns, and they're just like 4 blocks, 6 blocks wide, and tiny little towns on the side of these rivers.
The Alcon Highway?
Yes. I want to drive that. I've tried to tell Amy, I'm like, Amy, I want to do that. And she's like, yeah, take a buddy.
Oh, I'll go with you.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it'd be fun. Like, just drive up there and stop a couple of them little towns, and they've got these old saloons and stuff that have just not, it's like a time capsule inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are so cool.
Yeah.
Anytime where you can take a peek back and see what life was like 100, 200, 300 years ago.
Yeah. I've got this story.
Badass.
It's a funny-ass story. I'll tell it. So I was watching a show where there's a thing that people do. There's a river maybe up toward Alaska or around or in and around that road we're talking about coming down through Canada. People, this happens annually. People there'll be some dudes and they'll get their buddies and they'll go up north or wherever and they'll buy a bunch of timber and lumber and they'll build a giant float raft, like, 20 by 20, and they'll actually pitch tents on it, and they're going to float this river for as far as they can. And they just sit on this float, and they just kind of work their way down this river for days and days. And I was watching this documentary of these guys that were doing it, and they cook, and they're hanging out and drinking, laughing, having fun, and they'll stop, get off, whatever, for a little bit, and get back on their little raft. And it's just a raft with a standard old school 2-man tent, and they'll have a couple tents on there. And it looks amazing because it's just being outdoors and cooking and
in the wild.
In the wild.
The Copper River.
Yes. And so, and they're floating down this river, and there'll be rafts that are abandoned on the side of the river. People are just like, yep, had enough. We're just getting off. Leave your raft right there. And I was like, damn, that sounds awesome. So, and this was around 2002, 2001. Me and my buddies, we pinpointed a river in western North Carolina. We were going to build a raft, and we were going to float.
Just like these guys on the show.
Yeah. So we drove around Mooresville, and we snuck into a couple marinas, and we stole some pier floats that go under piers that hold piers up out of the water. There'd be some big, giant plastic square things that go under piers laying over on the side, and we'd be like, oh, man, pull over, just throw it in the back of the truck. And we haul ass, right? So we stole a few things, and then we went and bought a bunch of lumber at Lowe's, and then we built this raft on the back of a flatbed trailer that was hooked up to my truck. Okay. We filled the back of this truck with all the gear. Sleeping bags, tents, grilling equipment, food.
Just like the show.
Coolers full of beer. We had everything in the back of the truck ready to go. The damn float is on the back of this trailer, built, ready.
Yeah.
And there's 4 of us. And it's me, David Neal, David Hovis, and Josh Schneider, I think. And we called Jimmy Elledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Jimmy Elledge is Carson's dad, Carson, my niece. And we called Jimmy Elledge. We're like, hey, Jimmy, man, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to drive me to Western North Carolina. About 3 hours from here, you're going to drop us off. We're going to throw this raft in the creek, and we'll call you a couple days from now and come pick us up.
A couple days from now. Yeah.
And he's like, all right. He'll do it. It was like midnight.
Did he question this at all? Or he's like, all right, yeah, just tell me what
I'm about to get there.
Sorry.
It's about midnight when I called him. I was like, you're going to drive us. We're going to unload this thing. You can take off, go home, and we'll call you when we need you. He gets to the house, and he's like, hey, man, have you tested this thing out? I'm like, no, we ain't. I mean, I just assumed it would float. He's like, you might want to test this thing out. And so we take this big float, right? All 5 of us pick this thing up, and it was heavy as hell. It's everything we could do to put it in the pool. We put it in my swimming pool. And then I got on it, and it was like 2 inches above the water. And so like with all of our stuff and all 4 of us, it was not going to float. And so we aborted. I'm glad we didn't drive all the way there to learn that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. That's a real story. And we just had 2 we got 2x12s, and we just had the wood we put on this thing was far, far too heavy. That was not scienced out properly.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Statue of
This was
limitation.
back in the Bud days, if that explains anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that does help
Yeah.
explain a lot. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow. What a story.
Fan Day info, please, Jim Wood. Got any Fan Day info? I think there's somebody look that up for you. We'll get it for you here, Jim,
Yeah.
before we get offline. There is a Fan Day here happening at Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of outdoors, this is a question from a few weeks ago, but Jeremy wants to know, how often do you go camping, or do you go camping at all?
Do we count in a fifth wheel from Camping World?
Sure.
Really? Well, I camped this weekend at Cordele Speedway.
Oh, okay. Then maybe I don't know if that counts.
Oh, okay.
Like in the
Tent
woods,
camping?
You know? Yeah.
So I'm into that.
building fire.
I'm into that. I'm into it. Going getting some cedar,
Yeah.
kindling, and yeah, really, I'm into that. I like to. So on the lake here, Lake Norman is a man-made lake right here in Mooresville and around this area. There's some islands out there that's owned by Duke Power, and you can go out on those islands, and there's places where people camp on them.
Oh.
And so they're cleared out in the centers of these islands. These islands only be like an acre at the most, a couple acres. But you can park your pontoon, unload all your stuff, and hang out on the shoreline, and then build your tent, 20, 30 foot into the woods. There'll be some clearings, and people have been out there, right? And so we used to do that. Me and Hank Parker Jr. or all my buddies, when we had an off weekend in the Busch Series in 98, 99, we'd fill up 2 boats slam full of people and stuff and beer and go out and park on that island. And the deal was, we got there on Friday, and your ass wasn't leaving till Sunday. All right, you bring a bar of soap, wash in the lake, and all that. Yeah.
That's the life.
Yeah, it was so fun. And, I mean, you just drink beer all night and then lay around all day nursing a hangover and then go back at it. But, man, it was awesome. And I like that. I like that kind of stuff.
Is that island still, like, can you still do that?
There's a bunch of them. There's
Yeah.
bunches of islands on the lake that have that. And so it's pretty cool. I would do that again. And I kind of like that minimalist, take the bare necessities and,
It's good every now and then for
Yeah.
the soul.
Yep.
Yep, I agree. I don't know, that this outdoor talk makes me want to go camping. I've only been camping a handful of times.
Really?
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't been a ton either, but it's something I do enjoy. But I really like my fifth wheel. We got rid of the bus, and I got a fifth wheel from Camping World. One of the lower end models. It's not super high end, but I like it because I can fix anything on it. All the stuff on it. It's like the plumbing and wiring and everything and paneling and everything. The rack in the closet fell because I tried to hang some heavy shit stuff on it, like my driving suits and stuff. So driving down the road,
It
bounces in the back, and the closet rack fell. So I fix that. Go get some hardware. Boom. I can fix it. Anything on it. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one's from Twitter this week. Travis Hill wants to know, like in 2012, Tony Stewart was like making fun of a reporter, and you're sitting right next to him, just trying to hold back laughter.
David Newton.
Yeah. Do you
I know
remember
David
how
Newton.
difficult it was?
It might have been David Newton.
I think it was.
Yeah.
It was an ESPN reporter, I
Yeah.
want to say.
Tony Stewart.
Do you remember
was-
how difficult it was to
No,
contain
every
yourself?
not difficult. Every time you were around Tony, he was giving somebody a hard time. And sometimes he was doing it in a playful way because he liked the person, but sometimes he was doing it because he was just sick of their shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a couple, he had a decade-long era there where he was mad at everybody at one point, and he was just mad at Joey, and then he was just mad at one person or this person, then he was mad at a couple media people for a while. But that's the one thing. That's what I like about Tony is you always kind of knew where you stood, and he if he popped off, he was also the kind of guy that would come over later and go, "Hey, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
You're awesome." So he's got the one thing about Tony Stewart that a lot of people don't know is he's a teddy bear. He's very sensitive, and in behind closed doors, he has regrets and sometimes his actions, right, that he's had in the past. I've learned that he's had some pretty tough times dealing with some of those regrets over some of his actions, right? But so he's a good dude. Coincidentally, just won this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty big deal.
We were talking about that on DBC yesterday. He's won basically every form of motorsports outside of F1. Because he hasn't started an F1 race.
I think the world of that guy, and I'm so happy for him being a dad and how that's changed or how he's enjoying that.
Yeah.
And happy for Leah. I wish he was driving in circles. I love that he's found. I love that he's into this drag racing, and I love that he's in it.
Yeah.
He's beyond no return. But I miss him at the NASCAR tracks
You think
as a
he'll come back?
competitor.
Would he do a card store race?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not.
Well, maybe this is our formal invitation.
Yeah.
Come to a card
I
store
want to
race.
see him come.
wanna race in
I want to
circles
see him
again,
do
Tony?
1 or 2 Xfinity races a year.
Mm.
It was always cool when he was in the race in the field. So I'd love to see him race an Xfinity race. Go back to Daytona or something.
Absolutely. We have the Fan Day date. It is May 22nd. I believe that's a Thursday
There you go.
here at Junior Motorsports.
There you
So
go.
come check it out. Get here early.
Yeah. Oh, we're speaking of Fan Day. I think me and Amy are doing a live Bless Your Heart on Fan Day. She might not even know that. We're
All
talking.
right.
We're
Well, she
we're
now
discussing
knows.
it. We're discussing it. Yeah, that'd be fun.
That will be awesome. Let's see. This next one, also from Twitter this week. Let me see if J Grip 3899 wants to know, Kyle Larson brought his wing panel in for you last week on the show. What was the story behind it? Because it sounded like he was meaning to get that to you.
He had, I guess so. I don't know when that conversation started, but I was telling him that I had an old Steve Kinzer sideboard off of one of his wings, and he's like, I could give you one off of one of our cars. I was like, hell yeah, I want one. So it's been sitting over his shop for almost a year, and I just haven't gotten over there to get it. And so I was kind of surprised that he remembered, because me and him kept forgetting to connect on that. But he's had that for a while to hand over, and apparently it's got some real history because he blew the hole in the side of it, and they taped the clipboard to cover the hole. Like it was a rush job. All I got's a clipboard, duct taped the clipboard, and he still, I guess that's the owner's clipboard of the guy that owned the race car, and he still uses that very clipboard today.
That is badass.
Very cool.
That is really cool.
And you can see where the clipboard, it's the shape of a clipboard, how the tape goo is still there. Just neat. And Kyle Larson, you can collect cup sheet metal. It's relatively plentiful these days because it's become a market where teams will, when they mileage out, we got piles of this stuff around here from our cars for sale for people to buy, little bits and noses and stuff. And I even sell some of the late model car that I knocked the nose off of it this weekend. All that stuff will be in here for sale. But to get something unique like his dirt car, signboard, that's not something that's you're gonna commonly see out there. So I'm kind of pumped about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. This kind of like reminds me of like the helmet swaps. I don't see a whole lot of those anymore. These
Dude,
days
I was at
between
Cordele and this
drivers.
little kid was like, "I want your helmet after the race." I was like, "Man, it's a $5,000 helmet." I mean, I don't love that it costs that much, but I don't have.
And do you get a whole lot of helmets?
No, I that was the other thing too. I would get guys calling me up, like guys in other forms of motorsport, wanting to do a helmet swap, and I'm like, I can't. I'm like, that helmet is the one I use every week. Like Tony Stewart and those guys, like Tony Stewart in his final season used a different helmet every week. I would have loved to have done that, but they don't fit. I'm very particular about the forehead and everything.
What do you mean they don't fit?
Like you'll put one on and
Each one's different?
Halfway through the race, you got a headache because its pressure points are different. Back then, they didn't mold them to your head.
Oh.
Now they scan your head and they put an insert in there that fits you perfectly. But back then, I'd get a helmet that I liked. I was using the Simpson stuff back there, or Impact helmets. And, man, I'd get a helmet that I liked, and I use the same one every single practice, every race. Yeah. So, like, I mean, at the end of the year, I'd have one helmet to give to a golf tournament or a charity or something.
Yeah.
And so when I'd give it away, I'd be like, shit, now I got to
Get a new one.
find one that I love that I'll just keep using. Because I didn't like to change shoes. I use the same shoes, same gloves. I use the same everything till it would wear out.
I was going to ask you about the shoes because those, you got to break those in pretty good, right?
I hated putting on new gloves and new shoes because they were uncomfortable. And
Wouldn't you walk around,
no,
around the office with,
no.
You wouldn't?
No.
Oh. How do you break in racing shoes?
driving a race car, Andrew.
Well, now everyone's like, I don't know. Like, if they, like,
That's the answer.
yeah, I guess. Yeah. All right. You're right. That's my one dumb question for this.
Let's see.
Well, we will see.
There's still some show left.
I don't like that. I can hit the end stream button at any time.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Well, now there's a lot of pressure to do the next one here.
Somebody says a broken helmet is like a good broken pair of boots. Absolutely. Same with gloves and same with the racing shoes. They're just so unique. Once you got them comfortable, you just didn't want to. It was just like, yeah, these are great. I don't need another pair.
What about fire suits?
Fire suits, you're gonna get back. They're different now, but in my career, I got 3 suits for the first half of the year, and then 3 new suits for the second half of the year. And the 3, those suits get chopped up and put in trading cards. I would get 1 suit from every year. And I have 1 suit of mine from every year in storage. All the others, the 5 or whatever that existed, one might go to Rick Hendrick or go to a charity event. We'd always have a suit or 2 for a charity event. And then those others would get chopped up and put into trading cards.
Wow. Chopped up.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, they do that
impressive.
with. That's what they do with football jerseys too.
That's right.
Same thing.
That's the real deal. It's really the jersey or really the uniform.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to go with an easy one here. All right. I need to recover after that last question.
All right.
This one's from Nancy. What was it like getting around the old Rockingham back before I guess you
We
haven't.
talked about it on the show
did?
already. Yeah,
Nancy,
we
you're
did.
gonna have to
Try
listen to the show.
Yeah, and move on. We answered that in depth.
Oh, really?
It was
Yeah.
really good.
Yes, we did.
All right.
You'll like the answer. You'll just have to wait for it to come out in the show.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay. This next question then is from Joey. What is your most useless talent?
Oh, man.
If you can narrow it down to one.
Right, yeah, because you think I have many. I don't know, man.
Like, I know how to spawn a helicopter on GTA 5. Like, just
that's
like
not
all the
useless.
buttons.
What?
That's very useful.
You think that's useful? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
the
can play a
grand
video
scheme of-
game good. I mean, that's not a useless talent.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like useless
It
sounds
feels pretty useless.
like I like someone saying like I could name like the Atlanta Braves 1975
Yeah.
roster.
I could, yeah. Like I could probably tell you any Eric Church song, including live, within the first half second of it being played.
Yep. I don't know that I have a useless talent.
All of them
all
have some
of my
use.
talents are awesome talents. Like, if you have a useless talent, to you, you're like, no, that's badass that I can do that because it's rare. Yeah.
Awful question.
Yeah.
Awful question.
What?
Hey, let's see here.
Come on.
Yep.
Help me out, you
right here.
chat.
Yep, Redbone says dumb question.
What?
Yep.
Fail.
Fail.
Dang. And you know it's bad when Red
Oh, yeah.
tunes in and says it's
Yep.
bad.
Get it together, he says.
Dang, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
coming after
my
you.
goodness. Let's see. Now I'm really. This is really.
Well, you've got him.
You've got me flustered.
flustered a little.
You have me flustered.
Yeah.
This one here says, "Do you think water has a taste?"
Oh my God. So, y'all want to know something we did to Mike Davis the other day? Do you want to tell that story?
Oh, that is funny. I
Yeah.
don't know what it has to do with the question. But
Well, I'm
going
to just tell a fun story if we can't get a better question.
Okay.
Amy brought. This is how we'll end the show, and she'll be mad because she wanted to say this for Bless Your Heart, but Andrew's forced us into this box.
Blame Andrew.
So,
I don't think these are bad.
well, all right. What's the question? What's the next question?
Huh?
You
well,
got
it was the water.
Oh,
no.
I actually have a question for you.
Some water has a taste.
I have one for you.
Okay.
If some bottled waters taste better than others, wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, but
All right,
Yeah.
we're moving. Dale, what happened
Correct.
with your ketchup packet?
Oh shit, I can't. No, that's for Bless Your Heart. Sorry, you got to listen to Bless Your Heart for that one. That was a hell of a issue with a ketchup packet this weekend.
okay. Let's talk about the Mike Davis story then.
Yeah, that's for Bless Your Heart too.
Oh,
You got another question?
One more. We're just gonna wrap it, Andrew.
dang it! I ruined it.
All right, I'll tell the ketchup packet.
No, save it for Bless Your
No,
Heart.
it's fine. It's fine. We were at Cordial this weekend, and God dang, man. We were at Cordial this weekend. We had a great time with the Cars Tour. Frustrating into the race, but we talk about that earlier in the show. My car's parked in the garage behind our hauler, and there was nothing to the left side of it, and they had this railing. It was temporary railing you could move around, and the folks that wanted to be waiting for an autograph or a diecast would walk up and rest on that railing, probably from me to you, right?
Mm.
And I would get in my car and practice and pull in and pull out and get my, and then come over and sign some diecast and, try to take care of. There was 20 or so people kind of meandering around this fence. Finally, I'm standing over there signing the last couple of autographs, middle of the afternoon, and there was really only about 2 or 3 people still standing there with a couple diecasts, and I heard this boom noise behind me. It was down pit road, but something got hot, and it didn't explode would be the wrong word, but it popped. Burst. And so I just heard a boom. Exactly in the same very moment that noise was made, I felt something fly onto me like a wet substance. And it hit me I had on my driver's uniform, brand new white
Oh no!
brand new white Bass Pro Shops fire suit. And I felt it land on the fire suit. Little specks, like dime size dots. And it was red.
I'm hit.
So initially, like my very first, like this is all in fractions of a second, I thought, I'm not turning around to see what that was and why there's red on me now. Red fluid. Like somebody is injured. I don't know what happened, what the explosion was. Did it hurt somebody? I was really like, this is in a very, like a half a second I had that thought, because in the next half a second, I smelled ketchup. And I was like, that's ketchup. And it was on my neck. And I was like, where in the hell did ketchup come from? So I'm looking around to my left, because that was the direction in which it came. And I'm like, there's nothing there. Stefan's standing there. And he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, what in the world? Where'd this ketchup come from? And there's little dots on my brand new uniform. And I looked down, and it was a brand new ketchup packet laying on the ground about a foot from me. And the person that I just autographed their diecast walked by and stepped on it, and it shot it straight up in the air all over me. And Stefan comes walking up with like a handful of like fast food towel
The little napkins.
Yes,
He was doing
fast
this
food napkins.
Yeah.
And he's like right in the middle of the pits, and I was like, Stefan, we're going into the trailer to fix this. We're not doing this out here. I was like, no one noticed. Let's just go into the hauler. And so we just walk into the hauler like nothing happened. And in my little gooseneck trailer, I got a little curtain I can go behind because we can run the air conditioner in there and try to keep the cool air in there. I go in there. I got some of those. We had some of those Lysol towels in the little plastic cylinder. You pull one out at a time. We got all of the stuff off of me. Cleaned up the driver's uniform perfectly. No problem. But, man, it was just like right at the same time I heard this boom.
Was that related to?
No, unrelated.
Oh.
Perfectly timed. And so for this real split second, I was like, somebody's hurt. There's been something. Something's just happened.
Like
What in the world?
catastrophically.
Yes, catastrophic.
Yeah.
And then I was like, ketchup. And then I looked down. I was like, damn it. Who dropped a brand new packet down? And it just stepped on it just perfectly. Shot on my suit and all over my face. It was embarrassing, but
Wow.
there you have it.
I can't believe.
I cannot tell a lie.
I can't believe you
That's
got
what
it
happened to me.
all off.
Yeah.
Ketchup on white.
It's fine.
That's
Yeah.
That
Those
would have me nervous.
Lysol or whatever those little disinfectant things are.
They work. They work hard.
Did a good job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for saving the end of Ash Jr. there.
There you go. All right. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Feels like this was a long one. My favorite
32
part.
minutes.
It's my favorite part of the show because we get to talk about all this stuff in front of y'all, and y'all get to comment. And so, yeah, it's a lot of fun. But I want to thank Xfinity Mobile. I'm looking at some of the final comments. But I appreciate Xfinity Mobile and everything that they're doing for us here at Dirty Mo Media, and everything they do for the Dale Jr. Download, and everything they're doing for me down that long road at the end of the power line where it doesn't look like service should work, but it always does. They come in clutch for us NASCAR fans. We can take this Xfinity Mobile on the go and always have great service and be able to catch the tail ends of these races. I was in Cordele, couldn't really sit down in front of a TV and watch the Xfinity race and watch Kyle Larson beat up on the Junior Motorsports guys, but I was able to follow along on my phone because of Xfinity Mobile. So appreciate it, and yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Everybody have a great one. Bless your heart. Thursday, we got a great interview with Edwin McCain tomorrow. Edwin McCain, all right, singer. Everybody knows Edwin. He's got some NASCAR ties. Been a big friend of the NASCAR community for a long time, and I got a great story with him about the 2001 Daytona July race.
Oh.
And he's had some personal struggles. And I ran into him about 6 months ago. And he's got a new record coming out. And he's sort of, he's kind of has this hero arc, man. He had some struggles. He got in some trouble and found himself on some hard times. And he's made his way out of the darkness, and I asked him if he would come on the show and tell us about that, because I find those stories to be fascinating. Like, some people don't make it out of some of those grim, dark moments of their lives, and he did. I want to know how he did it and what he's got going on. He's a great dude, really funny. So it'll be fun talking to him. And, yeah, we'll see y'all the rest of the week. Thank you.